Everybody, this is Sins of a Scorpion, and this is my very first video on this channel right now. This channel is going to be mostly about psychopathic records. However, right now, I am going to do a kind of a new thing, a wrestling thing, if you will. Kind of like a review, I don't know, vlog, rant. Well, it's not really going to be a rant, but anyway, it's going to be, I don't know, like a vlog, I guess. First up, Monday night, WWE Raw. Really was boring. You know, right away when CM Punk came out with Paul Heyman, they said something about AJ Lee hitting Paul Heyman after he proposed, and then they had, Paul Heyman did the footage, and right after the footage, AJ Lee's theme music hit for like 10 seconds and then just cut off. Luckily, Paul Heyman and CM Punk are really good about covering up the mistake, so they kind of just covered for him, which wasn't that bad. And then Vicky Guerrero came out with Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph actually had an idea that Paul Heyman and Vicky Guerrero should get together and co-GM it, Raw. Then AJ's song, music hits for the right time this time. She comes down, skipping of course, as she normally does. Then all of a sudden she gets on the mic and says something about a coach coming out. Daniel Bryan's music came out. He came out and pretty much did the same BS, pretty much apologized to everybody for AJ's acting out and mental well-being because of dropping her at one of the WrestleManias. So then all of a sudden he keeps saying, I'm the world champion, same old stuff that they've been doing with him. Kane's music hits, fire, all that crap. That ended up coming out. Ended up coming out saying AJ was a phenomenal kisser. AJ had a big smile on her face. And then all of a sudden they started getting into each other's face saying, I'm the world champions. No, I'm the world champion. Same old boring crap that's been going on with them too. Then all of a sudden, predictable to everybody, Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk ended up getting in a tag match with Daniel Bryan and Kane. Team Hell No. Boring, predictable, same old crap. Of course, it was all PG, so it makes it even worse to sit there and watch. So that was actually mistake number one. Mistake number two was a stupid debate between Big Show and Sheamus. The Big Show's podium actually ended up collapsing on accident, and it was just boring as hell. Nobody actually cared. The audience didn't care. I think I even heard a couple of people say boring, which agreed. Booker T didn't even look like he was comfortable with doing that. Sheamus, he's being goofy like normal. Big Show tried to be a little bit goofy and tried to be serious, but it wasn't coming off because it was a horrible segment. And I'm missing some matches in there because they were boring too, like Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Primo and that other guy. Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio ends up winning it. So, but yeah, I'm just missing a bunch of crap because it's boring, same old. But that was mistake number two. Mistake number three, it was actually funny because I had that fake ass Goldberg, Ryback, on there going against Tensai, who WWE buried mad fast, and it was, I don't know what he calls his final move or whatever, where he puts them on their back and then he carries them and then he drops. I think it's it's not fireman's carry. I don't know what the hell it's called. But anyway, it looked like Ryback was trying to get Tensai on his back, and Tensai didn't look like he was getting his hands into the right position to help hold him up, and Ryback couldn't lift up Tensai. Then, that was the first time. The second time he tried it, clearly he was Ryback was very pissed at that moment, And again, Lord Tensai didn't seem like either he didn't want to go with that or job to Ryback, or he just wasn't on, he wasn't gonna play that game, whatever. And Ryback was extremely pissed, so they went for going against a rope, clothesline. And then at the end, when he covered Tensai, right as the camera was coming up, it looked like Ryback said, "You stupid," or "You suck," kind of like what Randy Orton said to Kofi Kingston when Kofi screwed up. So, I mean, it was just a horrible, horrible night. And the match between Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk and Kane and Daniel Bryan, that wasn't anything special. There's no good surprises or anything like that. Now, the next show I'm going to talk about actually has surprises now, when it was boring, and that is TNA Wrestling, Impact, whatever they want to call themselves. Now, the whole thing about this, normally Impact is boring, except for these segments that I'm about to talk about, Aces and Eights. This week, or last week, I should say, because it's Thursday and it's going to be on again tonight. Last week they had the boss of the Aces and Eights come show up with his back turn, cap turn, smaller guy. On YouTube, obviously, everybody knows it's Eric Bischoff. If you couldn't tell from his voice pattern, because you know how he goes Hulkster, and how he goes down and then up. I mean, he has a very distinctive voice pattern, regardless if they try and cover it up or whatever with the voice synthesizers and whatnot. That's not going to work for him. Plus, he's a smaller dude. And, yeah. So, but there's also one other thing besides the voice pattern that it all makes sense. Alright, Eric Bischoff has a house in Cody, Wyoming. Now, Cody, Wyoming is next to South Dakota. South Dakota is home to Deadwood, and of course Sturgis. And the whole story of the Aces and Eights took place in Deadwood. It took place in, I don't know, like a casino bar thing. I think it was just a straight up bar, saloon, I guess. And while Bill Hickok had the Aces and Eights, and he had one card that was laid down, well, before he was able to turn it over, he got shot. That's why it's called the Dead Man's Hand. Now, Eric Bischoff has been known to go to South Dakota, Sturgis, of course. He was huge in the Sturgis. He's the one that got WCW to do Hog Wild in Sturgis. So, I mean, it makes sense. He's a motorcycle guy. Back when he was with NWO, he also came out on a motorcycle, and he had, I can't remember the dude, I don't know if his name was Six, or if it was Sin, or might have been not even that, but they had one biker guy in the NWO. He always wore that bandana, and then I think he had blonde hair. He didn't really talk that much. I don't think it was much for promos and whatnot. So, but yeah, so it all makes sense right there. The only thing is, I mean, obviously you got Briscoe in there. I mean, you can tell when he first walked into TNA, and no matter what they try and hide here and here with the skull mask, you can still see his hair and you can still see his puffy ass eyes, so you can tell it's him. Who everybody else is, Mike Knox, I think somebody had said. At first I thought the bigger guy was Conan, but I don't think that's it anymore. People also thought it was Chavo, and he hasn't been in it. There's been one other speculation that Hulk Hogan might be in there, and that's why he went from the Hulkster with the blonde back to the Hollywood Hogan bit. And people are thinking maybe that's why. It's because he's a part of the Aces and Eights and he's stringing Sting along. It's like, I don't know. I won't know until Bound for Glory, and I'm not getting the pay-per-view because I'm not spending $40 for that. So I'll probably watch other people's YouTube videos and find out, what happened with the whole Aces and Eights angle. All I know is wrestling has been getting better on TNA. Not only because of the new stable, but because it's not freaking PG. I like to hear people curse and not treat their viewers as children. especially when a lot of their viewers grew up in the 1980s, like me. You know, back when Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, you know, all came out. The first appearance of The Undertaker, I remember that. I remember watching the first Raw when that came on. I remember watching that. I remember watching WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3 when it was on straight up USA. Or no, yeah, it was USA. Or maybe it was TBS. Anyway, it was on one of those channels in Madison Square Garden. I remember it specifically. So, the fact that WWE is treating their older fans like the younger fans, it's horrible. And that's why I mostly go to TNA. Not to mention that, you know, I do like to watch the older WCW wrestlers wrestle still. That's just me. I still miss WCW. And to all those that are sitting there saying the Aces and Eights are the Nexus, are the copy of the Nexus. The Nexus is a copy of the NWO, and the Aces and Eights are a copy of the NWO because they didn't want to name the NWO the band, like they did when Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Six Pac came back. That was horrible. I didn't like the fact that they were just saying the band, but obviously Vince McMahon still owns the NWO, so whatever. Got rid of those guys. Not that I don't like, you know, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Six Pac. It's just the fact that it was just freaking lame. I mean, Scott Hall can't wrestle whatsoever. Six could. He can, and so can Nash when he's not getting hurt. But it was old. They're a little too old to be playing that anymore. So I'm hoping Kevin Nash comes back to TNA and has something to do with the Aces and Eights, but I highly doubt it. So anyway, that's kind of like my review rant from my very first video. I should probably do an intro for this, so be on the lookout for that soon. And heck, might even get uploaded at the same time this one gets uploaded. So until next time, this is Sins of a Scorpion. Later.